Did you know the logging industry hasn't had to follow national environmental laws in Australia since the late 90s? This week I asked Environment Minister Murray Watt, who's currently overhauling Australia's environment laws, why this is the case.
I guess it's a relic of history, is the answer as to why that exemption is there. When these laws were first introduced in the late 90s, an exemption was provided for the forestry industry, for native forestry, from the Commonwealth environmental laws.
As a result, environmental issues from forestry were left to the states to deal with. So, what's the solution? Well, in 2020, a government review said that the forestry industry should be brought in line with Australia's main environment law, with the same protections and standards as everyone else, and proper federal oversight. That was 5 years ago, but nothing changed under the Morrison government, and now we're in Labor's second term, and logging still has its exemption. However, Environment Minister Murray Watt told me there is change on the way, based on what was recommended 5 years ago.
We're still in the process of finalising the drafting of that, but we've made a very clear commitment that we agree that environmental standards at the national level should apply to that kind of native forestry work, and that's what we'll be delivering.
So, since it was recommended 5 years ago, and given it's protecting parts of an industry that loses millions while being propped up by our tax dollars and destroys critical habitat, will the national exemption for logging be removed?
We haven't quite arrived at the exact way that we're going to do that. Removing the exemption is one way that's put forward. There are other options that we can consider as well. We're in discussions at the moment with a bunch of stakeholders, from environment groups to forestry industry representatives, about that.
So, Watt agrees it's a relic and says he'll bring logging under national standards, but talks are ongoing, and vested interests are still having their say, and logging keeps its national exemption for now.